Over under, the number is 25 here. Okay.
What's the question?
If the Broncos can't run against the Browns, do they scrap the run? Do they change running backs, meaning different rotation? Do they trade for a running back, or do they bring in a free agent back, or do they start Capri? What should the Broncos do with the running back situation? And will they run the ball? Woody's advocating that they run the ball
and he's
for
dreaming.
3 quarters.
He's dreaming.
Whether it works or not, run the ball for 3 quarters and then keep running the ball just to establish the run.
You missed that. What I've said is you keep saying, and Kubiak told me on Sunday, I was closer than Les is because I didn't want to be on the front row, and I said, you're supposed to run the football. Well, we were going to run the football, but we saw defense. Well, guess what? You're going to see that defense all the time. So it's my belief that you run, even if you lose the game. I want to find out if they have a running game.
Get it going.
You're dreaming about C.J. Anderson.
So you're saying 25 attempts?
Yes.
25 attempts.
Do you think they'll run the ball 25 times, more or less?
I'll go over.
Really?
Yeah, this week, because this is the week to do it. If you're going to reestablish a run, the
weakness
weakness of Cleveland.
They're a terrible rush defense.
5.32 yards per carry they've allowed to the running back position.
Do you think they're going to run more than 25 times?
I think because it's Cleveland, I think they're going to force the issue, yes.
I think because I'm writing Sunday that they got to run. He thinks I'm wrong. He goes, try it. And I said, no, don't try it. Stick with it through 3.5 quarters, and if you're behind, then you let Peyton.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think you sacrifice a win just to force the issue. I do believe you try and force the issue early in the game. If it's not working, if it's not working, you got to play to win.
No. Well, and here's the other issue you have, and I know the defense has been incredibly stiff this season, but Josh McCown is on a historic run for that franchise.
The last 3 games, over 1,000 yards.
3 consecutive 300-yard games. That's never happened in the history of the Cleveland Browns. And that's not saying much because of the just travesty they've had at quarterback over the years, except for Bernie Kosar in their heyday in the 80s. But McCown's been on fire, and they're throwing the rock 72% of the time during that stretch. They've abandoned the run.
Yep, that's going to play into the Broncos' hands. What's your next question?
All right, Sports Illustrated's Doug Farrar wrote an article entitled Unhappy Unions, when coaches put players in the wrong schemes. And one of the 3 teams he cited, one of the 3 unions he cited, was Gary Kubiak and Peyton Manning. Is Kubiak's scheme just totally wrong for Peyton Manning?
My opinion? No, not at all. Not at this point in Peyton Manning's career, because you cannot expect Peyton Manning to go out there and throw it 40, 45, 50 times per game. That arm is jelly.
Brad.
He's not getting it there on time.
It's not working. It's not working.
I understand. I understand, but
I love Gary. I'm friendly with Gary, as is Woody.
Well, then turn to Brock.
And Gary, please excuse me for saying this.
Why?
Let Peyton do what Peyton does best and is most comfortable with. It's worked in the past. This is not working. Let him go in the shotgun the vast majority of the time. Let him do what he's good at doing.
But they've made alterations. They've been running more pistol formations, but it's still not working for him.
I was the guy at the beginning of the season, along with a few others, who said, these are 2 smart people. They'll figure it out. They'll compromise. Peyton won't be in the shotgun all the time. Gary won't put him under center all the time. They'll find a compromise. The pistol was the compromise. It's not working. He's the 30th ranked quarterback in the league, Peyton Manning.
But they're still 5-0.
I know that.
So until they lose, you can't make a change.
How far will this take them is the question.
Well, look, it took Trent Dilfer to a Super Bowl title. It took Brad Johnson to a Super Bowl title. You think Peyton Manning is as good as those guys?
Which defensive player we've had? Talib made the interception, Chris Harris, Brandon Marshall punched the ball out, Roby took it back. Each week, Von Miller pulled off one of the, I've been covering this game 50 years.
Strip sacks,
sacked and fumbled, takeaway. Who makes the play this week?
Darian Stewart.
Who have you dreamed about? Well, Darian Stewart had the interception against Baltimore.
Somebody who hasn't made a big play yet.
Has Brandon Marshall had a marquee play yet?
He punched the ball away.
Yeah, I guess he did against the Chiefs.
But we'll go with Stewart.
I go Darian Stewart.
I'll give you one. Shaquille Barrett. He looks really good to me.
That's a good one.
He's going to get a little more play this week if DeMarcus Ware isn't healthy. He's looked very, very quick. He's gotten to the quarterback a number of times. I think Shaquille and that Cleveland offensive line isn't great. I think Shaquille Barrett's going to get to the quarterback and make a big play this week.
I'm going to give you guys who's going to make the play of the week. Danny Trevathan. He has been totally left out.
Hasn't he?
He's been totally left out.
Yeah.
Trevathan had a return for a pick six and he dropped it, at the end zone. He did the silly thing. if I'm Danny Trevathan, I'm talking to you people and to you. I'm pissed. Nobody's paying
not talking
any
about
attention to me.
Yeah.
I am not getting any attention, whatever. I am going to go out and have the game. I'm playing the Browns. They suck. I'm going to have 6 tackles. I'm going to have 5 assists. I'm going to intercept a pass. I'm going to cause a fumble. I'm going to be the player of the week because I'm the one person. Think about it.
That hasn't got his.
We talked about Sylvester Williams. Oh, yeah. Malik Jackson, making the plays, got fined. The 2 outside linebackers. The 2 outside linebacker backups. We're talking about all 4 of the guys in the backfield. Brandon Marshall punches out, leading the team again this year in tackles. Who is the one guy that nobody's talking about? Trevathan.
TJ Ward was even a defensive player of the
So
week, right?
if you have a fantasy unknown player that does something,
if you're in an IDP
giving
league,
you
which stands for individual defensive players.
Inside information. Danny Trevathan.
All right, last question. Of the Broncos' next 5 opponents, only Green Bay has a winning record.
Looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, we're good for the Broncos. So are the Broncos going to be unbeaten after 10 games?
Let me look at the specific matchups because I have it here in front of me. Let's see, got Cleveland bye, Green Bay week 8 at Indy. Now that's a questionable game there. Well, it depends what version of Andrew Luck we see. Not worried about Kansas City, certainly not worried about my Chicago Bears, and then you get New England in week 12. No, they will not be undefeated. They will lose to either Green Bay or Indy.
They're going to trip up against people. You can't continue to go like this. Even if they improve, they can only be the 16th best offense in the league. They're going to lose a couple of games.
I will say Indianapolis is the game they stumble.
Really?
Yeah, on the road.
You think they beat
Chicago?
Green Bay here?
Yes.
You know what? Chicago scares me. If I were
Come on, Woody.
How?
Really?
Cutler's been.
He's been solid without Alshon Jeffrey and Eddie Royal. I get you.
Yeah, besides the fumble in the end zone that led to a touchdown.
Stinks.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to go chalk. They're going to lose to Green Bay at home. Green Bay is such a solid team, offense, defense. I mean, if the Broncos,
the offense has actually been struggling though in the last couple of games.
And Green Bay scores 27 points a game. If the Broncos score 27 points a game, we're throwing a parade right now.
They're not running the ball effectively right now. They got to get Eddie Lacy going.
But I got to finish, and we'll talk about it before then. Pat Bowlen's going to join the Ring of Fame. It's a night game.
And I'm in attendance. I'll be there for that.
It's the hottest ticket, regular season ticket maybe in the history of the Broncos. Broncos are going to be fired up for it. The Packers don't have to win this game. Of all the games they play this year, do they have to win?
Yeah, but let me ask you something. Are the Packers going to bring Aaron Rodgers to this game?
Maybe not, because they don't need to win.
They're going to leave him on the bus.
This segment is brought to you by the Blake Street Tavern, which has 3 bars under one roof. I don't know whether you've ever noticed that, Les. You probably would today.
I might not notice anything
18,000 square feet. I like the downstairs myself. I like going out on the patio out back because of the fire pit. I love the food. They have been called having the best tacos and the
That's a bold statement in this town because this is a really good taco town.
And the best nachos.
And chili cheese fries, too.
Yeah.
I've not actually had the tacos
and
at Blake
if you're listening at Blake Street Tavern, bring him some food. It's located 1 block east from Coors Field, and it's been named Denver's best sports bar 3 years in a row by Westward. Blake Street Tavern, sponsor of our Papa Shot.